Bad season got worse over the weekend when Lamar Jackson was forced to miss the end of Sunday's loss to the Chiefs with an injured hamstring. John Harbaugh given an update yesterday saying the injury precluded Jackson to return to the game, and it didn't matter that the game wasn't close. Quote, there was no way he could have gone back in that game. We should get our first real update on all of this tomorrow when the Ravens return to practice. We'll let you know what the timetable looks like, of course, here on NFL Live. Marcus, even though before the injury, the Ravens were struggling, what do you see as the biggest issue for Baltimore?
I don't know what Todd Monken is doing. I really don't. There is a tremendous amount of evidence that if you let Derrick Henry dictate games, this offense works better.
Yeah.
And him and Lamar dictating games with whether it's sleight of hand or whatever. Look at this on the season. Look at this on the season. 48 carries, 49 carries, tied for 24th. He's 8th in rush yards on those limited carries. He's tied for 6th with touchdowns and 20-yard rushes, 4, tied for 1st. And we left a game against the Kansas City Chiefs with 8 total carries in a game for Derrick Henry. Now, this has been a part before Derrick Henry showed up. Y'all know I almost lost my damn mind about the AFC Championship game.
Yep. Yeah.
And the number of runs that the backs had as the number 1 rushing team in the league that season. So again, go ahead.
Do you think or expect it to be different once Likely's back consistently and Ricard comes back?
But Dan, I understand that, and I agree with you on that. But what's your best formula right now? You have to play for what's going on.
Right.
You got 7 people injured on defense, and you consistently want to push the ball down the field.
And you're not winning.
And you're not winning doing that. So, again, I understand the draw to want Lamar to make plays and push the ball down the field. You did not sign this man to be tied for 24th in carries 5 weeks into the season. And if his career wasn't made on volume, we wouldn't have this argument. He gets better the more touches he has. That's been the case since he showed up to Baltimore and when he was in Tennessee.
So I think, not that I don't disagree that they shouldn't be running more. I think part of the issue is they're not running it well. They're not efficient at all. And I've been kind of trying to figure out why, Marcus, and some of the reasons for that. And there's a litany of it. I don't think they're blocking quite the way that they used to. I think the Ricard absence is huge. The more I went back and watched some of those runs, and it not only is it big in the run game, but I also think it's affecting their passing game, not as a pass catcher. But going back last year, when they had Ricard on the field, so when they were in 20, 21, 22 personnel, 2 backs, they had a 69% play action rate. If you're looking at this offense now and you're wondering why aren't they play actioning as much as they used to, and this was the case in the Chiefs game even before it got out of hand, I really think they usually get to a lot of their play action concepts with Ricard on the field. And it seems like removing him from this formula has sort of gotten them all out of sorts with their personnel groupings and their tendencies out of it. And I say that not to say that it's not fixable. It is. It just feels like they have to alter their offense now and accept that they live in a new reality without having 2 running backs on the field the way they did the last few years.
Yeah, man. By the way, Ricard, they're still kind of saying week to week. There's no clear timetable on his return. Dan, on the other side of the ball, there's lots of concerns for the Ravens defense. The injuries are a major piece of this, but what does the tape show you?
This is probably the most head-scratching team through 4 weeks in the NFL on both sides. And I would say defensively, the amount of blown coverages or people out of position is just jarring. You're playing man coverage up top. They run 2x2 RPO in Kansas City. Everyone kind of knows that's the case. Both linebackers fire. There's nowhere anyone remotely close to that slant. This is the one that blew my mind. Down in the red zone, they're in man coverage. No one's even remotely close to covering the back. Both linebackers are just standing in the middle of the field. That's a completely blown coverage on 3rd down, but it's man. This is one Thornton, speed guy at the number 3 down the seam. There's a linebacker. Either you carry him or Kyle Hamilton, who has no one pushing vertical at the bottom of the screen, knows he has to close significantly sooner. And for a team that is, in many ways, so experienced, so veteran-laden, the amount of times that I say blown coverage or out of position or poor communication or late to your responsibility, that's why it's so head-scratching that this group that is as talented and as experienced and as kind of the reality of expectation to consistently beat yourself is very odd to see from that organization.
Jags have a, maybe surprising to some, probably not to them, 3-1 start to the season. And a lot of it has had to do with the defense, okay? In the last 50 seasons, there have been 2 defenses to start a season with 4 straight games forcing at least 3 turnovers, including 2 interceptions. One is this year's Jaguars. The other is the 1996 Packers, who did it in 6 straight games to start their Super Bowl winning season. Dan, why has Jacksonville defense been so successful so far this season?
Outside of those turnovers, I think 3 things. Number 1, Jordan Lewis. His addition to their defense and playing the nickel has been a big deal. His understanding of run concepts, how he can get skinny or underneath blocks and make tackles, been a big deal. Number 2, they got heavy-handed defensive ends. Josh Hines-Allen and Travon Walker, those dudes set the edge. You're not getting the ball to the perimeter much in their run game. They are sticking that hand out and keeping their outside arm free. And then gap integrity. This is called the pirate stunt with that defensive line. But then somebody's got to keep the ball inside, and those backers got to fit it the right way with that inside shoulder and a scrape over the top. I know that the turnovers, maybe not as roller coaster ridey. You're not going to get that many to bank on, but I do think that there's been an improvement with how they're playing the fundamentals of their defense, and they fly around and hit you.
Roller coaster ridey. I like that one.
Roller coaster ride.
It's good. Let's go to Kansas City, their next opponent.
Thank you.
To the Chiefs offense. They got a much-needed boost with the return of Xavier Worthy this past week. Here's Patrick Mahomes on just how much it meant to their offense.
Yeah, he's just so explosive. I mean, you just see it when you get the football in his hands, man. It just makes the defenses have to adjust, and when they adjust, it's like he gets so much attention on him. Other guys can make plays happen, and so just having him out there, not only for his physical ability, but just the morale of the room, I thought it was huge.
Marcus, what stood out to you most in his return?
Touches for Xavier Worthy and how explosive he was, no matter how you wanted to get him the ball. I think he's evolving as a route runner as well. That was one of the things coming out of college, creating some separation, learning how to use all of the leverage that he's starting to create. He was phenomenal in this football game. He showed a repertoire of things that he can do in order to make this offense better, and here it is with the Kansas City Chiefs. They're going to get Rashee Rice back healthy. Xavier Worthy, Marquise is out there now, and now this team is starting to look very familiar. Also, changing some things conceptually. I got to give D.O. credit, as much as I hate it, for talking about what they needed to do offensively, but you saw them get to some of that, having that speed demon back out there on the football field.
I like that the fist bump happened in his shot, but then we went to yours. And,
Good job, man.
And I had to look over.
It was like, wait, put them together.
There's a difference in the fist size.
Where is it? Okay. Oh, there we go. All right. Sorry, Tim. We're killing our director.
Big, man.
All right, the Falcons came alive with some big plays in their 34-27 win over the Commanders. Michael Penix Jr. averaged 12 yards per pass attempt on Sunday, the highest mark by a quarterback with at least 20 attempts in a game this season. It's actually the 3rd highest by a Falcons QB in a game going back to 2000, trailing 2 Matt Ryan performances in 2016. Ryan won MVP and took Atlanta to the Super Bowl that season. Mina, what was the biggest difference in this Falcons offense on Sunday?
I mean, there were a couple great performances, obviously Bijan, Cowpis, but this was the Drake London breakout game we've been waiting for this season. True 3-level threat. Couple things stood out to me. One, how much he was aligned in the slot. I think that's where he's at his best. 6 of his 10 targets were from the slot, and you saw him continuously win there. And then finally, they used him on some in-breakers. I have been complaining constantly on how much this offense is dependent on outbreakers, but they had Drake London run the in-cut on the dagger concept. He's so good at those routes, and then a slant aligned wide. More of that, more of Drake London in the slot, more of throwing over the middle of the field, please.
I think you tweeted about this, didn't you? Did
well, everyone in
tweet?
Atlanta hates me.
Well, yeah.
But no, I agree. Like Drake's been in the slot for like 2 years now. That's where he's been his best. I thought Bijan was insane as well. Bijan had 3 or 4. He was great blocking. You know, Drake London's willingness to be a blocker.
Oh, this is so true.
Yeah, was outstanding. I also
Really
think
good.
just like Bijan's ability to break tackles, man. Like, it's not like Bijan breaks a tackle and it goes for 2 or 3 more yards. There were multiple times where he broke an arm tackle and went for like 15 or 20. They were explosive. They were very explosive on Sunday. I don't think Washington's defense was great. But that was a really good performance by that offense.
All right, let's get to some top stories here as we carry on. Tyreek Hill Tore ligaments in his dislocated knee during last night's win over the Jets. Our Adam Schefter spoke to his agent, Drew Rosenhaus, who said today's surgery went well. So what's next? Rosenhaus said it's about rehab and he will play next season. The realistic goal is the start of the season. It's interesting. Wow. All right, J.J. McCarthy could return to practice for the Vikings as early as this week. That, according to head coach Kevin O'Connell today. McCarthy, of course, suffered a high ankle sprain in the team's Week 2 loss to the Falcons. The Vikings play the Browns in London this week before a bye in Week 6.
Their offensive line better get healthy because the interior part of that group is poor.
Goodness. Hey, to San Francisco next. Brock Purdy missed practice on Monday. GM John Lynch was on the radio today, said they will take every precaution to make sure Purdy is all right. Neither Purdy or Ricky Pearsall practiced today as the team gets ready to play in L.A. against the Rams on Thursday. England's tenure in New York couldn't have started much worse, 0-4, without a single takeaway this season. Over the last 90 seasons, they're just the 5th team to start a season in such a fashion. Not surprisingly, none of the others finished with a winning record. No Jets coach has ever started 0-5 in his first year with the team. Oh. This music. Okay. Oh, it stopped. All right, Mina. Aaron Glenn, known for his defensive expertise, but we haven't seen any improvement with that unit. Why is the Jets' defense struggling so much?
Discipline, eye discipline in particular, really struggling with misdirection. When offenses use motion, they're allowing the second worst DVOA in football. Second only to the Dallas Cowboys defense, though that has been an issue for them. They also play a ton of man coverage, 6th most in the NFL, and they're just not good enough at it, I think, to justify that. Mike McDaniel, I thought, did a fantastic job of attacking their tendencies last week at the second level of the defense. They're too talented, I think, to be playing with this little eye discipline, but it's something that opposing teams are just going to keep attacking over and over until they prove they can stop it.
Yeah. Watching that game and calling it live, it was shocking how they continue to make the same mistakes that they did in the first 3 weeks. Because the tape said 2 things. 1, just really poor at leveraging the football. And then 2, really poor at tackling. And so we talked to Aaron Glenn about it, and he was like, there's no doubt we emphasized it this week. And point blank said, we will start to win when we eliminate stupid. And I'm not calling those players like dumb intellectually, but the amount of penalties, the amount of times that the Dolphins would motion over and the defenders playing man coverage stayed on the same level and ran into each other. And that was just, and I was thinking about it listening to all the comments from everybody in the players post-game. This has got to come from Aaron Glenn because there's not a ton of veteran experience on this football team. Young for the most part at your receiver, young for the most part at their offensive line, young at their skill group in the backfield, young on their back end for the most part, young at the defensive line. Like, this is a very young football team. And Aaron Glenn, thankfully, has the experience of being part of Detroit when it was starting to go up, and then 3-13 their first year, 1-6 their second year. Are they going to get fired? And then it finally went over that hump. And his experience in that is going to be pivotal for this football team because they have to get so much more disciplined on the controllables before they really start to say, all right, let's string together a couple wins.
I'm nervous about the quarterback.
In what regard?
Just the ability to push the ball down the field with anticipation. And I get it. Like, I understand that, you know, when you're looking at the all-22 and Dan, some of these throws have to be made. I don't, like, you said this to me multiple times, and I agree. The best ones put it in harm's way sometimes.
Yeah.
And I think Justin plays so safe to not make a mistake that it limits the ability of this offense at times. Last night, Breece Hall had some really good runs last night. They were able to do things explosive-wise. And I have to stop being so enamored with Justin Fields' legs and think about the quarterbacks that actually win games in this league.
Okay.
So go ahead. I'm not castigating the dude. I'm not saying that he can't get better, but we've had this conversation for a long time about Justin Fields.
Yeah, I have no idea what castigating means.
Yeah, that means like talking bad about.
All right. I don't think anybody should expect Justin Fields to be a crazy anticipation thrower. I don't think he's ever going to be.
Can you win like that?
I think you could win like that. I don't know if you're going to be an AFC championship contender, but Marcus, he had 350 yards of offense last night. You know, so, and also, go ahead,
Yeah.
NK.
Oh, no. I mean, I just think he was really low on the list of reasons that I thought they lost last night. He even had a great throw taken off unfairly off the board, in my opinion, on a kind of shaky OPI.
Yeah.
I actually thought he played pretty well.
I don't know. My prism as a defensive player is the only thing scares me about Justin Fields is his legs. Honestly, like I don't go into a game thinking that he's going to throw us out of this game.
I don't think that's unfair, but I think the Jets are comfortable with that. Like,
That's
we
fine.
know what he is.
That's fine.
And they think they can win games in that style.
I got you. But when the litmus test comes from the NFL, the dudes that are able to throw it with anticipation win games.
Yeah.
Sure. Yeah.
I mean, when you have Garrett Wilson and
That would be my one complaint last night.
Not enough.
Well, I would tell you this. They
Not
still
enough
struggle to
Wilson.
pick up pressure, so that has to become a thing. They got to force feed him the ball. He's the one guy on their offense that is dynamic. They didn't throw him the ball enough.